Welcome to the warrior's journey. These lessons are not for the faint of heart. They are forged in fire, carved in shadows, and spoken to those who dare to walk the road most fear to tread. This is not a path for followers. This is a battleground for those who see the world as it is. A brutal chessboard where every move shapes your fate and every mistake leaves its mark. Here, we do not chase comfort. We do not fear failure. We embrace the grind, the pain, and the relentless climb toward mastery. Each lesson is a weapon, forged to sharpen your edge, to steel your resolve, and to drag you from the mediocrity that chains the masses. These are the tools to forge your life into something unbreakable, undeniable, and unforgettable. But be warned, this journey will demand more than you think you can give. It will ask for your time, your effort, and your soul. You will confront your fears, wrestle with your weaknesses, and stand naked before the truth of who you are. If you hesitate, if you flinch, if you falter, this is not for you. But if you are ready to rise, to confront the enemy within, and to seize control of your destiny, then step forward. The battlefield is waiting, the lessons are your weapons, and the fight for your future begins now. This is GrimFace Motivation. This is the warrior's journey. Sharpen your mind, master your moves, and remember, the only way out is through. Let's begin. Lesson 1. The warrior's compass. What is a warrior without a compass? A soldier without a cause? A blade wielded with no direction cuts nothing but chaos into the air. If you don't know what you're fighting for, then every battle will feel like defeat. Every war will be meaningless, and every wound will sting with a hollowness that even time cannot heal. Today, we begin with clarity. Lesson 1 is not about taking the first step. It's about choosing which battlefield to march toward. This is your war, your life, your legacy. But without the compass of clarity, you'll wander aimlessly, your strength dissipated by distractions, your focus stolen by empty skirmishes that never mattered in the first place. Clarity is the compass. Without it, you are blind. Imagine for a moment you're standing in the heart of a dark forest. The trees are gnarled, their branches clawing at the moonless sky. You hear the whispers of shadows all around you, taunting, confusing, leading you astray. Every direction looks the same. Every path feels like a gamble. If you take one wrong turn, you could be lost forever. In this moment, what do you need most? Not a weapon, not armor. You need light. A single beam of clarity to cut through the darkness. Clarity is your beam of light. It is your weapon against confusion. So how do you find it? You don't stumble upon clarity. It's not handed to you. Clarity is forged like steel. It's born in the fires of self-examination, hammered by the blows of truth, and sharpened by the grit of discipline. You must look at yourself with unflinching honesty. Who are you? What do you want? What are you willing to bleed for? Because if you don't answer these questions, someone else will, and you will spend your life fighting their battles, not your own. Clarity is not just knowing your destination. It is understanding why you must go there. Without a reason, your journey will falter at the first sign of resistance. But when your reason is strong, no storm can break you, no enemy can shake you, and no failure can end you. Think of a master archer. The bow in their hands is useless without a target. They could have the strongest bowstring, the sharpest arrows, but without aiming at something specific, they will achieve nothing. A wasted shot is worse than no shot at all. You too must find your target. What is your mission? What is the vision that will guide you through the chaos of life? This is your moment to choose your battlefield. But remember, Clarity does not come to those who whisper. It comes to those who roar. Declare your intentions. Carve them into the walls of your mind. Let them echo in your soul until every fiber of your being aligns with that one purpose. Write your mission. Speak it. Burn it into your memory until it is as much a part of you as your heartbeat. Because when the world tries to break you, when the forest grows darker, and the whispers of doubt grow louder, your clarity will be the compass that pulls you forward. This is lesson 1. Know thyself. Know what you fight for. Know where you are going. Only then can you sharpen your blade and march toward destiny. Because a warrior with no clarity is not a warrior at all. They are prey. The question is simple. Will you wander the dark forest as prey? Or will you rise as a hunter armed with a compass carved from purpose? Choose wisely. Your next move depends on it. Lesson 2. The warrior's mirror. A warrior can have the sharpest blade, the strongest shield, and the fiercest resolve, yet still be defeated by their own reflection. Without knowing the warrior in the mirror, you fight with a ghost at your side, an unseen saboteur that will betray you at your weakest moment. Lesson 2 is simple in words, but brutal in practice. Know yourself. Think of a castle under siege. The enemy can batter the gates, storm the walls, and hurl fire at the ramparts. But the strongest fortresses are not taken from the outside. They fall when betrayal festers within. If you don't know yourself, you are that fortress crumbling from within, undone by weaknesses you refuse to confront and strengths you failed to wield. Self-awareness is your mirror, and it does not lie. It reflects your scars and your victories, your flaws and your potential. But here's the truth most people fear to face. The mirror doesn't just show you who you are. It shows you who you pretend to be. To see clearly, you must be willing to strip away the armor you've built to hide your insecurities. That armor may fool others, but it will never fool the reflection staring back at you. What does your mirror show you? A warrior? Or a fraud? Imagine a blade left to rust. Its edge dulls, its purpose fades, and when the time comes for battle, it shatters at the first strike. This is what happens to the warrior who does not tend to themselves. Your mind is the blade, your soul the forge. To become unbreakable, you must face yourself in the heat of honesty, no matter how uncomfortable it feels. Ask yourself, what are my greatest strengths? These are your weapons, and you must sharpen them relentlessly. But do not stop there. Also ask, what are my greatest weaknesses? These are the chinks in your armor, and they will be exploited if left unguarded. Ignoring them will not make them disappear. A true warrior embraces their flaws, not to wallow in them, but to transform them into fortifications. Weaknesses can become strengths, but only if you have the courage to face them. Now consider your tendencies. What drives you forward? What holds you back? Are you ruled by fear or ambition? Do you crave approval or thrive in solitude? The answers to these questions are your battle map, revealing the terrain of your inner world. To navigate it successfully, you must first understand it. But beware, the mirror is a dangerous thing. It will show you parts of yourself you would rather ignore. Pride may blind you to your faults. Doubt may make you question your strengths. Do not flinch. To know yourself is to wield power over yourself, and that is a power no enemy can take from you. Think of the ancient warriors who carved totems before battle. These symbols were not just ornaments. They were representations of their identity, who they were, what they stood for, and what they would die for. They did this not to boast, but to remind themselves of their essence. This is your task now. Carve your totem. Define who you are, not based on who the world thinks you should be, but on the unshakable truth that resides within. This is lesson 2. Stand before the mirror and face what you see. Study it. Master it. Only then can you become the warrior you were meant to be. Without this knowledge, you are a fighter swinging wildly in the dark, wasting your strength against shadows. But with it, you become a force of nature, calculated, precise, unstoppable. The battlefield is calling, but first, you must conquer the reflection. Who do you see, and who will you become? Lesson 3. The warrior's vision. A warrior without a vision is a ship adrift in a storm, tossed by every wave, driven by no destination. Lesson 3 is not about survival. It is about conquest. It's not enough to swing your blade in the heat of battle. You must know why you fight, where you are headed, and what victory looks like. Vision is the map that guides your journey and the fire that fuels your soul. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture yourself standing on the edge of a battlefield. The horizon stretches out before you, a vast, unclaimed world of possibility. But it is cloaked in fog, the terrain hidden, the obstacles invisible. Without a clear vision, every step you take is a gamble. Every decision, a coin toss. Now, imagine the fog lifting, revealing the peaks and valleys, the rivers and roads. Suddenly the path becomes clear. This is what a warrior's vision provides: clarity amidst chaos. But vision is not born in the safety of comfort. It is forged in the crucible of bold imagination. A true warrior does not simply dream of a future. They craft it, detail by detail, stroke by stroke, as an artist paints their masterpiece. Vision requires courage, because it demands that you face the unknown, that you dare to see beyond what is and into what could be. What does your masterpiece look like? Imagine you are an archer, standing atop a tower. Your quiver holds a single arrow, and your target is a mile away, obscured by the wind and distance. If you cannot see that target clearly in your mind's eye, your arrow will fall short, no matter how steady your hand. Your vision is not just your aim, it is your confidence, your certainty that what you pursue is within your grasp. But a vision without commitment is nothing but a mirage. Many warriors fall into this trap. They see greatness, but lack the resolve to pursue it. They dream of the mountain, but tremble at its base. A warrior's vision demands action. Every thought, every decision, every step must align with the image you have carved into your mind. This is not wishful thinking. This is deliberate creation. Ask yourself, what do I want to build? What do I want to leave behind? What mark do I want to etch into the stone of time? Your answers are not merely aspirations. They are blueprints. And, as with any structure, a clear blueprint is essential. Without it, you will labor aimlessly, building a house destined to collapse under its own weight. Vision is not just about your future. It is about pulling the future into the present. Each morning you rise, see your victory as though it is already won. Each night you rest. Let your mind linger on the details of the world you are creating. Feed your vision with thought, with emotion, with unshakable belief, until it becomes more real than the obstacles before you. A warrior with vision does not fear the fog, because they carry the map within their soul. They walk with purpose, their steps unwavering, their actions precise. Their enemies may attempt to blind them with doubt, to cloud their path with distractions, but they will fail. For the warrior's vision is not of this world. It is etched into eternity. This is lesson 3. See your future, not as a distant dream, but as a vivid reality waiting for you to claim it. Let it pull you forward, through the storms, through the battles, through the fires. For without vision, a warrior is merely a wanderer, But with it, they are unstoppable, a conqueror destined to shape the world in their image. What is your vision? And more importantly, are you ready to bring it to life? The time to answer is now. The fog is lifting. Will you see? Or will you let the horizon remain hidden forever? Lesson 4. The warrior's chessboard. Warriors who charge blindly into battle rarely leave the field alive. Victory belongs not to the strongest or the fastest, but to the strategist, the one who sees the whole board, anticipates their enemy's moves, and calculates their every action. Lesson 4 is this: master the art of strategic thinking. Picture a chessboard at the heart of your life. Each square represents a choice, a move, a moment. The pieces? They are your resources, your time, energy, relationships, skills, and knowledge. And the opponent? The chaos of the world, the obstacles in your path, the inner demons that whisper doubt into your mind. If you move without thought, you will be outmaneuvered. If you fail to plan, you will fall. But if you master the board, you will bend the game to your will. How do you master the board? First, step back. Too many warriors lose because they are consumed by the immediate, the clash of swords, the urgency of now. But strategy demands distance. Imagine an eagle soaring high above the battlefield. From this vantage point, it sees every path, every ambush, every opportunity. To think strategically, you must rise above the noise and chaos of the moment and see the larger picture. Ask yourself, what is the end game? Where am I trying to go? How will this move shape the next 5? A warrior without strategy is like a hunter chasing shadows. They expend their energy on what is immediate, forgetting that the prey they truly seek lies further ahead. Strategic thinking is not about reacting to what is in front of you. It's about anticipating what is yet to come. It's about staying 3 moves ahead of the enemy, turning their strengths into weaknesses and their victories into traps. But strategy is not just foresight. It is adaptability. No plan survives first contact with the battlefield. The winds of war will shift, the pieces on the board will change, and you must be ready to pivot without hesitation. A rigid mind is a broken one. Like water, you must flow into the cracks, reshape yourself to fit the terrain and keep moving forward. To strategize is not just to plan. It is to remain flexible in the face of the unpredictable. Imagine a master blacksmith forging a blade. They strike the steel with precision, each blow deliberate, each step calculated. They know when to heat, when to hammer, when to quench. Strategy is no different. It is about timing, precision, and the patience to wait for the right moment to strike. You must learn to see the opportunities others overlook, to hold your blade steady until the opening presents itself. But beware, strategy is not just about winning battles. It is about winning the war. Too many warriors fall into the trap of short-term victories. They sacrifice their future for fleeting success, chasing glory in the moment while the enemy gains ground elsewhere. A true strategist does not celebrate the capture of a pawn. They focus on the king. What is your king? What is the ultimate goal that will define your legacy? Every move you make must serve that purpose. This is lesson 4. See your life as a chessboard, your actions as moves, your mind as the strategist. Train yourself to think beyond the immediate, to anticipate the ripples of every decision, to adapt when the board changes. For the warrior who masters strategy controls not just their own destiny, but the battlefield itself. Are you playing the game, or is the game playing you? Step back. Look at the board. Plan your next move, and the 5 that will follow. Only then can you march toward victory, not as a pawn, but as the master of your fate. The question is simple. Will you seize control of the board, or will you be swept away by it? Choose your strategy and choose it wisely. Lesson 5. The Warrior's Circle. A lone warrior may stand tall, but even the mightiest fall when surrounded by enemies. Strength is multiplied by the bonds you forge, the alliances you build, and the loyalty you inspire. Lesson 5 is this: master the art of relationships. Build your circle wisely, for it will determine whether you rise or crumble. Picture a campfire in the wilderness, its flames flickering against the encroaching dark. Alone, the fire will struggle against the wind and rain. But with others feeding it, shielding it, it grows into an inferno. Unstoppable, unrelenting. You are the fire, and your circle is the fuel that keeps you burning. Without them, even the brightest flame will fade. Who surrounds you? Are they feeding your fire or smothering it? Imagine your circle as a shield wall. In battle, shields are not just protection. They are connection. Each warrior locks their shield with the one beside them, forming an unbreakable barrier. One gap, one weak link, and the wall collapses. Your relationships are no different. If you surround yourself with those who are weak in character, who waver in loyalty, or who thrive on your failure, your shield wall will falter. Choose your circle as a warrior chooses their allies, with precision and purpose. But relationships are not just about defense. They are weapons in their own right. The right alliances amplify your power, opening doors you could never unlock alone. A mentor can guide you where you cannot see. A comrade can carry you when your strength fails. A challenger can sharpen you, like a whetstone sharpens a blade. But beware, alliances must be earned, not demanded. Trust is not given. It is forged through action, consistency, and honor. How do you forge these bonds? Start by leading yourself. A warrior who cannot control their own actions cannot inspire others to follow. Be the kind of person you would want in your own circle. Strong, reliable, and unshakable in your purpose. Others will gravitate toward your fire, not because you ask, but because they see the light and wish to stand beside it. Yet, forging bonds is not enough. You must also tend to them, like a blacksmith tends to the forge. Relationships, like steel, must be heated, hammered, and tempered to become unbreakable. This requires effort, honesty, and vulnerability. A willingness to show both your strength and your scars. A circle built on false pretenses will shatter under pressure. A circle forged in truth will endure the fiercest storms. But remember this: not everyone who walks beside you is meant to stay. Some will fall away, revealing themselves as distractions or adversaries in disguise. This is not a failure. It is clarity. The tighter your circle, the stronger your force. Warriors do not need armies. They need allies. Picture a great oak tree. Its branches stretch wide, but its strength lies underground, in the roots intertwined with others. Alone, a tree may stand tall, but in a forest, it weathers hurricanes. This is your goal, not to stand above others, but to grow alongside them, creating a network so strong that no storm can uproot you. This is Lesson 5. Choose your circle with intention. Forge bonds that empower, alliances that inspire, and connections that endure. Your strength is not just in yourself. It is in those who stand beside you, shoulder to shoulder, shield to shield. The question is not whether you need others. It is whether you will choose wisely. Will your circle be a shield wall or a shackle? Will they lift you higher or drag you down? The battlefield is not won alone. Gather your allies, build your fire, and prepare to march forward together. Only then will your victory be unstoppable. Lesson 6. The Warrior's Blueprint. Every great warrior begins with a plan. a blueprint for conquest that transforms chaos into creation, uncertainty into direction. Without it, even the strongest will falter, their strength wasted on battles that lead nowhere. Lesson 6 is this: define your game plan. Build a blueprint for victory and let it guide every step you take. Imagine you are an architect tasked with building a fortress. You have the tools, the materials, and the manpower, but no blueprint. The workers are eager, yet they move without purpose, laying stone upon stone at random. Days turn to weeks, and when the dust settles, you find not a fortress, but a ruin, scattered and incomplete. Your life, your ambitions, and your legacy are no different. Without a plan, your efforts will amount to nothing more than fragments of wasted potential. A warrior's blueprint is not merely a list of tasks. It is a vision translated into action. It is the bridge between the dream and the reality. The most skilled warrior without a plan is like a predator chasing shadows, their energy spent on fleeting, meaningless pursuits. But a warrior with a blueprint becomes a force of nature, their every move deliberate, their every strike calculated. How do you create your blueprint? Start with the end in mind. Picture your fortress, not as it is now, but as it will stand when completed. Strong, unyielding, and awe-inspiring. This vision is your foundation. What does success look like for you? What will it feel like to stand atop the walls you've built, looking back at the battlefield you've conquered? Let this image burn in your mind, unshakable and vivid. Now, work backward. A fortress is not built in a day, nor is it built in a single step. It rises brick by brick, layer by layer, each one supporting the next. Your blueprint must be no different. Break your grand vision into smaller moves, milestones that keep you on track and focused. Each step must serve the greater whole, or it is not worth taking. But beware, a plan, no matter how perfect, is useless without execution. Many warriors fall in love with the idea of planning, crafting intricate blueprints that never leave the parchment. A true warrior acts. They take the first step, then the second, knowing that no battle plan survives unchanged. Adaptation is key. Your blueprint is not a prison. It is a guide. As the battlefield shifts, so too must your strategy. Think of a river carving its way through a valley. It does not flow in a straight line. It bends and curves, adjusting to the terrain, but always moving toward its destination. Your plan must do the same. Flexible, yet unrelenting. Obstacles will appear. The ground beneath you may shift. But with a clear blueprint, you will not lose sight of your purpose. And remember this: your blueprint is not just for you. It is a rallying cry for those who follow you. A warrior with a plan inspires confidence, drawing allies to their side. Your clarity becomes their clarity. Your purpose becomes their purpose. Lead with your blueprint, and you will not march alone. This is Lesson 6. Define your game plan. Build your blueprint, brick by brick, and let it guide you to victory. Without it, you are a wanderer, lost in the fog of battle. With it, you are a builder of empires, a creator of legacies. Ask yourself now, what does your fortress look like? What steps must you take to build it? And most importantly, are you ready to lay the first stone? The time for hesitation has passed. The battlefield awaits. Your blueprint is your weapon. Use it wisely and rise. Lesson 7. The warrior's edge. A warrior can wield the finest blade, don the strongest armor, and carry the clearest blueprint, yet still fail if they cannot master their emotions. Lesson 7 is this: control your emotional edge, for it will decide whether you conquer or crumble in the heat of battle. Picture the warrior on the battlefield, their sword glinting under the sun. The enemy approaches, fierce and unrelenting. But the warrior's greatest foe isn't the enemy in front of them. It's the storm within. Doubt creeps in. Rage boils over. Fear whispers its poison, and all reason falters. Without emotional control, even the mightiest warrior is reduced to chaos, their strength scattered to the winds. Your emotions are like fire. Controlled, they warm you, fuel you, and drive you forward. But unchecked, they consume you, leaving nothing but ash in their wake. The warrior's edge is not their strength. It's their ability to temper the flames. How do you master this edge? First, you must recognize your emotions, not as enemies to suppress, but as tools to wield. Anger, fear, excitement, and doubt. They are part of your arsenal, but only if you learn to command them. Imagine yourself as a blacksmith, forging steel in the fire. If the flames burn too hot, the metal will crack. If they burn too low, it will not take shape. Balance is key. Emotional mastery is the art of keeping the flames steady, neither extinguishing them nor letting them spiral out of control. When the battle rages, what will you feel? Fear? Fear is the shadow of uncertainty, but it is also a signal. It tells you where the stakes are highest, where the challenge lies. A warrior does not run from fear. They face it, using it as a compass to guide them toward growth. Anger? Anger is the roar of a cornered beast. Left untamed, it blinds you. But controlled, it sharpens your focus, ignites your courage, and fuels your resolve. Doubt? Doubt is the whisper of vulnerability, but it is also a mirror. It forces you to examine your weaknesses, to prepare more thoroughly, and to rise stronger. These emotions are not weaknesses. They are raw power. But power without discipline is a weapon that cuts both ways. You must learn to channel your emotions, to harness their energy without becoming their slave. Think of a great storm at sea. The winds howl, the waves crash, and the ship creaks under the strain. The untrained sailor panics, their hands shaking as they lose control of the helm. But the master navigator? They remain calm, their grip steady, their eyes focused. They know the storm is not their enemy. It is their test. And by mastering the storm, they master themselves. How do you steady your emotional edge in your own battles? Through preparation. A warrior who knows their plan, their strengths, and their purpose is not easily shaken. Through reflection. A warrior who examines their emotions, rather than suppressing them, gains power over them. And through resilience. A warrior who has faced adversity and emerged stronger carries a calmness that no storm can break. But be warned, mastering your emotional edge is not a one-time victory. It is a daily battle, a constant practice. Even the most disciplined warrior will stumble if they grow complacent. The edge must be honed, day after day, moment after moment. This is lesson 7. Your emotions are not your enemy. They are your ally, your weapon, your fire. Master them, and they will push you forward when all else fails. Let them master you, and they will drag you into defeat. The battlefield is unforgiving, and storms will come. When they do, will you stand firm, the storm bending to your will? Or will you falter, lost to the chaos within? The choice is yours. Grip the helm, temper the fire, hold the edge, and march forward as the master of your fate. Lesson 8. The Warrior's Blade. The sharpness of a blade does not come from chance. It comes from precision, from the relentless honing of steel until it becomes a weapon of purpose. Your decisions are that blade. Lesson 8 is this: master decision-making. For every choice you make, either sharpens your edge or dulls it beyond use. Imagine standing before a fork in the road. One path winds through a dark forest, its dangers hidden, but its rewards immense. The other leads to a plain, open, and safe, but barren, of opportunity. Which path will you take? Some would freeze, paralyzed by the weight of the decision. Others would rush forward, choosing impulsively and inviting ruin. But a warrior does not hesitate, nor do they act recklessly. They assess the terrain, calculate the risks, and strike with purpose. How sharp is your blade? How sound are your decisions? A true warrior understands that every choice is a move on the battlefield. Some moves are defensive, protecting what is essential. Others are aggressive, pushing forward to claim new ground. But all must be deliberate. Indecision is the silent killer, the unseen force that robs you of momentum and drags you into defeat. To master decision-making, you must learn to see every choice as a battle. Not every fight is worth engaging, not every path worth pursuing. Ask yourself, does this move align with my mission? Will it bring me closer to my ultimate goal? Or is it a distraction, a skirmish that drains my energy without reward? This clarity is your first weapon in the art of decision-making. But clarity is not enough. A warrior must also weigh the risks and rewards with brutal honesty. Picture yourself as a tactician standing over a map of the battlefield. The enemy is stronger in numbers, but their supply lines are exposed. Do you strike now, risking your forces, or do you wait, knowing delay could cost you the war? The answer lies in understanding not just the immediate stakes, but the long-term consequences. Every decision is a ripple. Will yours lead to waves of triumph or storms of regret? Yet even the most calculated warrior must face the unknown. No plan survives untouched by chaos, and no decision is free of uncertainty. This is where courage comes in. A dull blade hesitates, fearing the risk of failure. A sharp blade cuts forward, knowing that action, even imperfect, is often better than inaction. A warrior trusts their training, their instincts, and their ability to adapt to what comes next. But beware. The weight of every decision adds up. A warrior who carries regret, who looks back at their choices with bitterness, dulls their edge over time. Learn to move forward. Every decision, good or bad, is a step. If it leads you closer to victory, celebrate it. If it teaches you a lesson, embrace it. Both are necessary for the forging of a warrior. Think of a river carving its way through stone. Each drop of water, insignificant on its own, works with countless others to shape the course of the land. Your decisions are like those drops. Alone, they may seem small, but together they define the landscape of your life. This is Lesson 8. Sharpen your blade through decisive action. Do not fear the weight of choice. Embrace it, master it, and use it as a weapon to carve your path through the chaos of life. The battlefield of your future lies before you. Will you stand frozen at the fork in the road, your blade dull from hesitation? Or will you raise it high, strike with purpose, and shape the terrain to your will? The time for doubt has passed. It is your decisions that will forge your destiny. Choose wisely, and the world will kneel before the edge of your blade. Lesson 9. The warrior's horizon. A warrior who looks only at their feet cannot see the enemy approaching, the obstacles ahead, or the opportunities waiting just beyond the ridge. Lesson 9 is this. Understand the battlefield. Recognize the forces shaping your world, and learn to see the patterns hidden in the chaos. Imagine standing atop a mountain at dawn. The valley below is shrouded in mist, and the horizon stretches endlessly in every direction. To the untrained eye, it's a beautiful but meaningless landscape. But to a warrior, it's a map, a living, breathing battlefield filled with signals, movements, and signs of what's to come. Those who understand the horizon, anticipate the storm, spot the weaknesses in their enemy, and seize opportunities long before others even notice them. How well do you see the horizon of your own life? The battlefield is always changing. Economies shift. Industries evolve. Relationships transform. Your challenges, allies, and adversaries will not remain static. A warrior who ignores the changing terrain will find themselves outflanked and overrun. To succeed, you must become a student of your environment, constantly scanning the horizon for the forces shaping your reality. But understanding the battlefield is not just about observation, it's about interpretation. Imagine an enemy army on the march. To a novice, it's a random sea of motion. But to a strategist, the pattern emerges. They see the weaknesses in formation, the supply lines stretched thin, the signs of fatigue in their ranks. This ability to decode the battlefield is what separates the warrior from the wanderer. How do you train yourself to see the patterns? First, cultivate curiosity. A warrior's mind is as sharp as their blade, always seeking to understand the why behind every movement. Why are certain opportunities appearing now? Why are others retreating into the shadows? Look deeper than the surface and uncover the forces at work. Second, embrace foresight. The warrior who understands trends and cycles can anticipate what others cannot. Study the movements of your world, economic shifts, cultural tides, technological advances. These are not random occurrences. They are the rhythms of the battlefield, and those who move with them gain the upper hand. But do not stop there. Adaptability is your greatest ally. The terrain will never be fully predictable. Unexpected storms will arise. Allies will falter. Resources will dwindle. A true warrior does not panic in the face of the unexpected. They adapt, bending like a tree in the wind, while keeping their roots firmly in the ground. Think of the hawk soaring above the battlefield. It sees not just the individual battles below, but the entire theater of war. It watches the movement of troops, the flow of resources, and the hidden dangers lurking in the shadows. You must become the hawk, detached, observant, and always aware of the larger picture. Yet beware, the horizon can also deceive. Not every signal is a sign, and not every pattern is real. A warrior must learn to separate noise from meaning, to discern between distractions and true opportunities. This requires discipline and the wisdom to know when to act and when to wait. This is Lesson 9. Understand your battlefield. Study the horizon not just for what is, but for what could be. Recognize the patterns, adapt to the changes, and position yourself where opportunity meets preparation. The question now is this: will you wander blindly, lost in the fog of the moment, or will you rise above it, scanning the horizon with the eyes of a strategist? The battlefield waits, and the winds are shifting. See them, understand them, and use them to your advantage. The warrior who masters the horizon masters their destiny. Lesson 10. The warrior's clock. A warrior can wield strength, strategy, and skill, but without the mastery of time, they are nothing more than a pawn in the game of fate. Lesson 10 is this: master timing, for even the sharpest blade is useless if swung too soon or too late. Picture a predator in the wild, crouched low in the underbrush. Its muscles are taut, its eyes fixed on its prey. It does not lunge at the first flicker of movement. It waits, poised, patient, watching for the perfect moment to strike. 1 second too early, and the prey escapes. 1 second too late, and the opportunity vanishes. This is the essence of timing: the ability to know when to act, when to wait, and when to let go. Do you know the rhythm of your battles? Life is not a steady march. It is a symphony of opportunities, challenges, and choices. Each moment carries its own tempo, its own rhythm. Some moments demand swift and decisive action, like a strike in the heat of battle. Others require patience, the discipline to bide your time until the odds are in your favor. The warrior who masters timing moves not with haste or hesitation, but with precision. How do you develop this mastery? First, cultivate awareness. Timing begins with observation. Like a warrior scanning the battlefield, you must learn to read the flow of events around you. Look for the signs, the subtle shifts in the terrain, the unspoken cues in a negotiation, the turning tides in an opportunity. Timing is not luck. It is the reward of paying attention. Second, embrace patience. Impulsiveness is the enemy of timing. Many warriors fall because they rush forward, driven by fear of missing out or desperation for immediate results. But the greatest victories are won by those who can wait for the moment when their strength, their strategy, and their environment align. Patience is not passivity. It is the art of waiting with purpose. Third, act with boldness. Timing is worthless without execution. When the moment comes, hesitation is your downfall. A warrior who waits too long to strike loses their advantage. Trust yourself. Trust your preparation. When the time is right, move with the ferocity of a storm, leaving no doubt and no room for regret. But beware, timing is not always about action. Sometimes the greatest victories come from knowing when to step back, to let go, or to retreat. The samurai understood this principle, knowing that a sword not drawn in haste is a sword that serves its master wisely. Not every battle is yours to fight. Not every opportunity is worth pursuing. Knowing when to say no, when to delay, and when to walk away is as much a part of timing as knowing when to act. Think of the tides. They ebb and flow, constant yet ever-changing. A skilled sailor does not fight the tide. They move with it, using its power to propel them forward. You too must learn to ride the tides of life, aligning your actions with the natural rhythms of opportunity and effort. This is Lesson 10. Master timing, for it is the silent force that turns strategy into victory and potential into achievement. Know when to strike, when to wait, and when to let go. Align your actions with the rhythm of your goals, and time will become your ally, not your enemy. The question now is this: will you charge blindly, missing the mark and wasting your strength? Or will you step into the flow, moving with precision and purpose? The clock is ticking, the battlefield awaits, and the tides are shifting. Seize the moment, or be swept away. The choice is yours, warrior. Will you master the clock, or will it master you? Lesson 11. The warrior's voice. A warrior's strength is not only in their sword, but also in their ability to shape the world with their voice. Words can rally armies, forge alliances, and ignite revolutions. Lesson 11 is this: master the art of negotiation and persuasion, for your words are the tools to build bridges or burn them. Imagine a battlefield where no weapons are drawn, yet victory is won. Two commanders stand across from one another, their armies waiting in tense silence. No blood is shed, no clash of steel heard. Instead, the outcome is decided by words, the sharpest, most strategic weapon of all. A warrior who cannot wield this weapon will find themselves outmaneuvered, even when their strength should guarantee triumph. How sharp is your voice? Negotiation and persuasion are not just skills, they are arts, honed through understanding, precision, and discipline. To master them, you must first understand that every word carries weight. Every silence, speaks volumes, and every tone builds or destroys trust. Your voice is your weapon, but it must be wielded with care. How do you develop this mastery? First, know your battlefield. In negotiation, ignorance is defeat. You must understand not just your own goals, but also the desires, fears, and motivations of those you are engaging with. Think of a scout gathering intelligence before a siege. The more you know about the terrain, the stronger your position becomes. Second, balance power with empathy. Too many warriors mistake persuasion for domination, attempting to force their will upon others. But a true master of negotiation knows that influence comes not from overpowering, but from aligning. Find common ground, speak to shared goals, and show the other party how your victory is also theirs. A blade can coerce, but a voice can unite. Third, learn to listen. Persuasion is not about talking, it's about understanding. Think of yourself as a hunter tracking prey. The tracks you follow are not in what is said, but in what is left unsaid. Listen not just to words, but to pauses, hesitations, and the emotions behind them. In the silence, you will find the truth. But beware, persuasion is a double-edged sword. Words can build, but they can also destroy. The wrong tone can fracture trust. The wrong choice of words can escalate conflict. To master your voice, you must also master your emotions. Speak from a place of clarity, not anger. Persuade with logic, not desperation. Picture a blacksmith forging a blade. Each strike of the hammer must be deliberate, each blow calculated. Too much force, and the metal cracks. Too little, and the blade is weak. Negotiation is no different. Your words must be deliberate, neither too forceful nor too timid. Only then will your voice carry the strength to shape outcomes. And remember, the greatest negotiators are those who see beyond the immediate battle. They do not aim to win at all costs, leaving scorched earth in their wake. Instead, they play the long game, building relationships, trust, and alliances that endure beyond a single victory. Every word they speak serves a purpose greater than the moment. This is Lesson 11. Master your voice. Use it to build bridges, to inspire action, to shape the world according to your vision. A warrior with a blade can win battles. A warrior with a voice can win empires. The battlefield is not always fought with steel. Sometimes, it is your words that decide whether you rise or fall. So ask yourself, are you wielding your voice with precision, or are you letting it scatter into the void? Speak with purpose, listen with intention, and use your voice to conquer. Not just the moment, but the future. The world will listen, if you dare to speak with strength. Lesson 12. The Warrior's Forge. A warrior's strength is not just in their skill, but in the systems they create. The unseen structures that allow them to endure, adapt, and conquer. Lesson 12 is this: build a scalable system. For a warrior who fights every battle alone will eventually fall. But one who forges a system creates a legacy that endures. Imagine a sword forged from the finest steel. Its blade is sharp, its hilt perfectly balanced. But even the sharpest sword can strike only one blow at a time. A true warrior understands that to conquer great challenges, they must go beyond their sword. They must build a forge, a system that multiplies their efforts and creates results long after the battle is over. What is your forge? What systems have you built to sustain and amplify your efforts? At its core, a system is a foundation, a framework that ensures consistency even in the chaos of life. Without it, even the most disciplined warrior will falter, overwhelmed by the sheer weight of their responsibilities. A warrior with a system, however, moves with precision, their actions supported by structure and strategy. Their energy is not wasted on distractions. It is focused on what matters most. How do you build your system? First, define your priorities. A system is only as strong as its purpose. Ask yourself, what are the non-negotiables in my life? What must be protected, cultivated, and achieved at all costs? Your system must align with these priorities, ensuring that your daily actions serve your ultimate goals. Second, simplify the battlefield. Complexity is the enemy of efficiency. A warrior burdened by unnecessary armor will tire before the fight is won. Look at your life, your habits, and your routines. What can be streamlined? What can be delegated? What can be eliminated? Your system should free you, not bind you. Third, automate where possible. The warrior who sharpens their blade every day wastes time that could be spent mastering their craft. Learn to create systems that work in the background, ensuring that essential tasks are completed without constant attention. This is not laziness. It is strategy. Automation allows you to focus your energy on the battles that truly matter. But a system is not just about efficiency. It is about scalability. Imagine a single torch lighting a dark cave. Its flame is strong, but it can illuminate only so much. Now imagine that flame passed to 100 torches, each one lighting another. This is the power of a scalable system. It spreads your influence, amplifies your impact, and creates results far beyond your individual efforts. Yet beware, every system requires maintenance. Even the strongest forge will crumble if neglected. A warrior must regularly revisit their systems, sharpening what works and discarding what doesn't. Adaptability is key. What serves you today may not serve you tomorrow. Your system must evolve as your goals and circumstances change. Think of a great general who builds not just an army but an empire. They create systems of supply, communication, and strategy that ensure their forces can move as one, striking with precision and overwhelming power. This is your task. Build your empire, one system at a time. Each piece must work in harmony, supporting the whole. This is Lesson 12. Forge a system that sustains your strength, multiplies your efforts, and evolves with your journey. Without a system, you will fight alone, scattered, and exhausted. With a system, you become a force of nature, unstoppable and enduring. The question now is this: will you continue to fight every battle as a lone warrior? Or will you build a forge that empowers you to conquer on a grander scale? The choice is yours. Your system is your legacy. Build it wisely and let it carry you to heights no single warrior can reach alone. Lesson 13. The Warrior's Fire. A warrior's path is fraught with trials, victories, and setbacks. But what truly separates the conqueror from the defeated is not skill, strategy, or strength. It is their ability to ignite and sustain the fire of relentless action. Lesson 13 is this: overcome fear and take calculated risks, for the fire of progress is lit only by those bold enough to step into the unknown. Imagine standing at the edge of a great chasm. On the other side lies everything you desire: victory, growth, legacy. Between you and your goal stretches a bridge made of frayed ropes and rotting planks. The timid turn back, paralyzed by the height of the fall. The reckless charge forward, unaware of the dangers beneath their feet. But the true warrior, they examine the bridge, assess its weaknesses, and take each step deliberately, their eyes fixed on the horizon. This is the warrior's fire, the courage to move forward despite the risks, tempered by the wisdom to move with purpose. Fear will always stand guard at the gate of progress, whispering its lies. What if you fail? It asks. What if you're not ready? But fear is not your enemy. Fear is your invitation. It is the shadow cast by the greatness waiting on the other side of your hesitation. The warrior does not extinguish fear. They harness it, turning it into fuel for their fire. How do you overcome fear and take calculated risks? First, separate risk from recklessness. Recklessness is leaping into the dark without a plan, driven by desperation or impulse. Risk, on the other hand, is a deliberate act of courage. It is the decision to step into uncertainty, not blindly, but with preparation and resolve. A warrior calculates the cost of their actions, not to avoid risk, but to understand it. Second, redefine failure. Many fear taking risks because they fear the sting of failure. But failure is not the end. It is the forge in which your resilience is tempered. Imagine a blade that is struck once by the hammer and never again. It remains brittle, untested, and weak. True strength is forged through repeated blows, through trial and error. Failure is not defeat. It is progress in disguise. Third, act despite uncertainty. No battle is ever won with perfect information. The terrain shifts, the enemy adapts, and the fog of war obscures the path. Yet a warrior moves forward, not because they are certain of victory, but because inaction guarantees defeat. Even the smallest step forward creates momentum, breaking the paralysis of fear. Think of the phoenix, a creature reborn in the flames of its own destruction. Each time it burns, it rises stronger, more vibrant, more determined. This is the power of taking risks. It allows you to shed what no longer serves you and rise anew, closer to the warrior you were meant to become. But beware, courage without wisdom is as dangerous as fear without action. A warrior's fire must be controlled, stoked at the right moments, and never allowed to consume them. Every risk must align with your mission, every step measured against your ultimate goal. Let your fire burn not aimlessly, but with purpose, lighting your path forward. This is lesson 13. Face fear, take calculated risks, and let your fire drive you toward greatness. Without risk, you will remain on the edge of the chasm, forever wondering what could have been. With it, you will cross the bridge, not because it is safe, but because it is necessary. The battlefield is not kind to those who hesitate, nor does it reward those who leap without thought. Will you stand frozen by fear, or will you take the steps that ignite your fire and propel you forward? The chasm awaits, but so does the other side. Trust your fire, warrior. The time to act is now. Lesson 14. The warrior's tide. A warrior may have strength, skill, and courage, but the greatest victories are reserved for those who understand the power of adaptation. Lesson 14 is this: adapt and reevaluate, for even the strongest currents can shift, and a warrior who refuses to change is destined to drown. Picture the ocean, vast, relentless, and ever-changing. Its waves rise and fall, its tides ebb and flow. To fight against it is folly. To navigate it requires wisdom. Life is your ocean, a battlefield where nothing remains static. The plans you once trusted may falter, the paths you once followed may vanish, and the strategies you once relied on may become obsolete. A true warrior embraces change, not as an obstacle, but as an ally. Are you navigating the tides, or are you being swept away by them? Adaptation begins with awareness. The warrior who moves blindly forward, clinging to outdated strategies, will find themselves ambushed by reality. Like a scout who constantly surveys the battlefield, you must pause to evaluate your surroundings. Ask yourself, what has changed? What forces are shaping the world around me? What new opportunities or threats have emerged? This clarity is your compass in an unpredictable sea. But awareness is not enough. A warrior must also have the humility to pivot. Pride is the enemy of growth. Too many warriors cling to their original plans, unwilling to admit that the terrain has shifted beneath their feet. But adaptation is not weakness, it is strength. It is the mark of a warrior who values victory over ego, progress over stubbornness. How do you cultivate adaptability? First, embrace flexibility in your strategy. Think of your plans not as rigid blueprints, but as living documents, capable of evolving with the circumstances. A master archer adjusts their aim with the wind, recalibrating for each shot. So too must you adjust your actions to align with the ever-changing landscape of your goals. Second, cultivate resilience in your mindset. Adaptation often means facing failure and uncertainty. Yet these are not defeats. They are teachers. Imagine a tree in a storm. The rigid branches snap under the weight of the wind, but the flexible ones bend and survive. To adapt, you must bend, learning from the storms, rather than breaking beneath them. Third, seek opportunities in the unexpected. Change is often seen as a threat, but it is also a gift. The tides that disrupt your plans may also carry you to shores you never imagined. A warrior who sees only obstacles misses the hidden advantages that come with change. Ask yourself, what new paths have opened before me? How can I turn disruption into progress? Yet beware, adaptation does not mean aimlessness. A warrior who constantly changes course without purpose becomes lost in the tides. Adaptation is the art of balancing flexibility with focus, reevaluating your actions while staying true to your mission. The currents may shift, but your destination must remain clear. Think of a master sailor charting their course. They do not fight the wind. They harness it. They adjust their sails, correcting their path while always moving toward their goal. This is your task, to become the master of your tides, flowing with change rather than resisting it, steering with intention rather than drifting aimlessly. This is lesson 14. Adapt and reevaluate. Life will not follow your plans, but it will reward your ability to adjust, to learn, and to grow. The tides of change are not your enemy. They are the current that carries you to victory. The battlefield is unpredictable, and the storms will come. Will you cling to your old ways, sinking beneath the waves? Or will you rise above the chaos, steering your course with courage and clarity? The tides are shifting, warrior. Adjust your sails and move forward. Your victory awaits on the horizon. Lesson 15. The Warrior's Ascent. The journey of a warrior does not end with victory. It is a continuous climb, a relentless pursuit of mastery. Lesson 15 is this: commit to continuous improvement, for the true warrior never stops ascending, no matter how high they've already climbed. Picture a mountain rising into the clouds, its peak shrouded in mystery. Each step forward reveals new challenges, new terrains to conquer. But here's the truth most never grasp: there is no final peak. Every summit reached reveals another higher still. For the warrior, the journey is not about reaching an end. It is about the climb itself, the constant evolution of self. Are you still climbing? Or have you stopped to rest, believing the battle is over? The danger of victory is complacency. Too many warriors fall into the trap of celebrating their triumphs and ceasing their pursuit of growth. But a blade that is not sharpened will rust. A body that is not trained will weaken. And a mind that is not challenged will stagnate. The warrior who ceases to improve begins to decline, and the battlefield does not forgive stagnation. How do you commit to continuous improvement? First, adopt the mindset of a learner. A true warrior knows that mastery is not a destination, but a discipline. No matter how skilled, how knowledgeable, or how accomplished you become, there is always more to learn. Humility is your greatest ally here. Recognize that the moment you think you know it all is the moment you stop growing. Second, seek challenges that stretch your limits. Growth does not happen in comfort. Like a blade tempered in fire, your strength is forged in the heat of adversity. Push yourself beyond what is familiar, beyond what is easy. The path of improvement is steep, but it is on this path that you will discover the depths of your potential. Third, refine your habits. Continuous improvement is not about massive leaps, but about consistent, deliberate steps forward. What you do daily defines who you become. Examine your routines, your rituals, your practices. Are they serving your climb, or are they holding you back? Build habits that align with your ascent. But beware, improvement is not a solitary pursuit. A warrior's climb is supported by those who challenge them, guide them, and walk alongside them. Seek mentors who see what you cannot. Surround yourself with allies who push you to grow. Learn from adversaries who force you to sharpen your edge. Improvement is not an isolated act. It is a collaborative evolution. Think of a blacksmith's forge. Each strike of the hammer refines the blade. Each pass through the fire strengthens its core. But the forge does not operate alone. It requires fire, steel, and the skilled hand of the blacksmith. You are both the blade and the blacksmith, constantly refining yourself through action, reflection, and learning. And remember, improvement is not just about strength or skill, it is about purpose. Each step forward must align with your mission, your vision, your why. The climb is steep, but it is also sacred. Each summit reached is a testament to your commitment, not just to the fight, but to the warrior you are becoming. This is lesson 15. Commit to the climb. Never stop seeking, never stop learning, and never stop improving. The warrior's ascent is endless, but it is in this endlessness that greatness is forged. The question now is this: will you rest on the plateau of past victories, or will you rise, step by step, into the unknown heights above? The mountain awaits, and the summit is calling. Sharpen your blade, steady your resolve, and take the next step. For a warrior, the climb is life itself. Keep ascending, and the sky will one day bow to your ascent. You've just taken a step into the shadows, where the weak hesitate and the strong rise. The lessons of the warrior are not for everyone, but if they've awakened something in you, if you feel the fire stirring, then you already know this is where you belong. The GrimFace movement isn't just about listening. It's about doing. It's about taking control when life tries to own you, about embracing the grind while others run from it, and about rewriting the rules of a world that wants you to stay small. Here, we don't follow. We lead. We don't conform. We break free. If you're ready to stand apart, to carve your own path, and to face the dark truths that most are too afraid to see, then join us. Subscribe, share, and step into a community built on resilience, power, and the relentless pursuit of mastery. This is your call to arms, your chance to leave the crowd behind and claim the life that's been waiting for you. The GrimFace movement isn't just a channel, it's a revolution, and it starts with you. This is GrimFace Motivation. The weak look away, the strong rise. Which one will you be?